and welcome to The Regulars. I'm Stacey McGonigal.
My name is Jason DeRoss.
Oh, yeah, killing it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We had a little 2-week reprieve.
Yeah.
My camera connector broke, and we are going full webcam, baby.
I think that you think it's a bigger difference than it is. You look great. It still looks.
I know, but of course,
perfect.
of course. But I'm just feeling the angling. Hello, Jordan. Hello, Fred in the chat, and Shayla and Stephanie and Kelsey, Crystal and Jen, everyone who is here. Yeah, it's just like not part of my routine. She's different. She's new. Who is she? We don't know. How are you, Jason? How is the new place?
Well, you can see I'm still living under a fan, and for some reason it's positioned over my head like I'm wearing one of those tiny dunce caps from back in the day.
And the thing was, you had time to figure it out, and that's what I think is fun. Is that you had time.
I think it's all right. Well, I didn't think the framing would be this weird. But when we say we had time, yeah, I mean, like, I guess I could just go like.
We had 2 weeks of time.
Here, how about this then? How about I just go like this?
Are you in your bedroom?
I'm in my bedroom. Like, so that's going to change. I'm in a bedroom.
So
I'm in our bedroom.
You've decided to put your office right beside your bed.
No, but we're not fully moved in yet. So at the moment, the only desk is right beside my bed.
And I love it. I
don't know what you think. Maybe you assumed we were moving into a mansion or something that had like a nice den or some sort of beautiful thing. But no, my bed is still under a ceiling fan. So it's,
I have some ceiling fans too. You can see one just spinning, but I decided to just like move it, a little off. But this is great, Jay. Congratulations on the new.
I didn't think you'd be able to see the bed in the framing either, but here we are.
And here's the thing, like, we make do with what we have, but my question is, like, you can see, right? So it's not like you're like, oh, I can see this in the frame, maybe no one else will.
I saw it in the frame beforehand, but I was like, well, here we go. Here we are. And it is what it is. I just saw Jen's. I missed the hoop. You have to understand, like, that out of anything in the move, that broke me.
You had to get rid of the hoop?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, not many kids have a hoop inside their bedroom that they can throw a basketball, because the basketball we got him is like a real basketball, just a smaller size.
Okay.
So it's got some weight to it. So now he's got a fan in his room. He's also got a mirrored closet. So like, and his room isn't the master suite anymore. So it's like, we can't just play basketball inside his room.
So logistically, you just decided to chuck the thing that brought him joy?
I think there's a lot of things that bring him joy. I think you're saying it like, so you've killed your child, essentially. You've killed your child's dreams.
No,
here's the thing. I don't think he's ever going to become an NBA star, because he is going to get my body at some point. Like, it's going to happen.
No. I just think I love going into like a parent's psyche of like, he has mirrored closets and like, I don't want to deal with the shit. So it's gotta go. I just love that.
It's more than the mirrored closets. There's not enough space in his bedroom anymore to have a basketball court, as well as he's got one of these ceiling fans. So there's just no way to play basketball.
I'd like to pause for one quick question. Lift your wrist up. Is the actor bracelet back on?
What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
No.
Ew. Okay, so first of all, everyone, SOS, Jason is back at that cult acting class where he has to wear the bracelet.
You keep saying this. Like, I'm not back. I just picked it up while I was moving and put it on when I was moving, and I guess I forgot I had it on. But two, I still appreciate that acting class. Is one of the joys, and it's crazy.
Crystal, I miss this tension. God.
You also like do this for a living and take acting classes. So no, I don't know why.
I actually don't take acting classes because I went to theater school, and upon unpacking my theater school experience, I feel that many are
see, maybe that this is just
not healthy.
Maybe you were in a bad relationship. Maybe you need to find that good relationship of an acting studio or something that you enjoy and go, oh, great, I'm getting some things out of this. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe. And listen, I hold my story to be my story, and I open, the floor to everyone to have their own story as well. And Crystal, to answer the question, what is this bracelet for? Jason was in an acting class where one of the rules, because as actors know, you have to wear this plastic bracelet as a reminder of your dedication.
That's not what it is either. But Stacey's made a lot of assumptions with it.
I did.
Yeah. It's still, I'm not going to say what it is on this podcast because
not.
I don't want to deal with that. But it's not a cult. It's just you go through some exercises. One of the things is they do give you a bracelet off the top, and you wear it around for the first 2 weeks while you're there because you're just like, great, this is
a reminder.
We build communities in everything we do, so I think it's great.
Well, Jason, let's talk about it. How has your 2 weeks been?
You would think you'd be like, oh, how refreshing we love the podcast. We love the people that are in it, but it is a lot of time and effort. So you'd think, oh, it's a vacation a bit, even though it's from a job you love. But for me, it was moving. So there still was a lot of,
Jordan,
not vacation time, I'll call it.
Jameson wants to know, also birthday, happy birthday, Jameson. He
Oh,
would like
wow.
to know, does your class play late night volleyball?
Yes, but I set that up. I'm the one that set that part up.
Well,
that
everyone
was on
has
me.
their tasks. Everyone's their job tasks for the community.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what? I will say this 2 weeks was much needed. I truly was beyond brain dead, beyond burnt out, and just couldn't take it on. So this was a 2 week reprieve.
It's true. You messaged me twice about that, and because the first time we were talking over like a text.
Well, I just thought I would send a message as a friend, just, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I was putting it on myself of like, in the shits of it, I was not good with communication over these 2 weeks because I didn't know where I was half the time. Yeah. But then at one point you're like, at the end of our conversation, you put like, oh man, this has been great 2 weeks. I feel great. And then I didn't respond to that because I was like, it seems like I'm just running around like a maniac. But then in our next conversation, you said the same thing. I was like, oh, I should have responded last time. I'm a jerk. But
No.
but it also shows just how like refreshed you are, and you look great. You did it. You're refreshed.
Thank you. I did get a t-shirt from a woman on TikTok. I bought her merch. She is a 90-year-old woman. The shirt says, "This is my outfit for today. If you don't like it, you can leave."
It's not angry grandma, is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She's 90.
I think she's the first person I ever followed on TikTok.
She's incredible. I bought it in March. Now, did I think it was maybe a scam? Of course I did. Did this shirt show up this weekend? It did. And I went, it wasn't a scam. I got what I paid for. So this shirt's amazing. I can't wait to wear it for like with a blazer. It's just going to be incredible.
Hell yeah. Also, I guess happy birthday to the wonderful Ashley Botting, then friend of the podcast, been on many times.
Happy birthday, Ashley Botting.
You guys are birthday twins. That's crazy.
Happy birthday, bots. So I have
Do you
to
have a
ask,
birthday twin?
I think it's one of the Clintons or something.
I don't even mean celebs. Like, do you have friends that you're like, oh man, now we share a birthday?
February 27th is such a weird birthday.
Well, 29th is even weirder. But
I know I was about to be. So how was your Mother's Day?
it was good. It was great. It's weird not being able to be with your actual mother because she lives in another country.
I meant your wife.
I know. I was doing both. That's why I said it was great off the top.
Oh, yeah,
so like
yeah,
it was
yeah.
great. Like I mean, we didn't do a ton because of the chaos that it is, but like we have a friend that's amazing with flowers, and she works at a flower shop. So we went.
Yeah.
I went and picked up some flowers and
That's nice.
did the whole, just the basic stuff like the chocolates and stuff, and then made a nice dinner and stuff. But like she's great. And then with my mom, I did feel like I didn't do enough. You know.
Why would you do?
Well, I went to get her dinner for the night to be like, I'm going to order you dinner for the night. This will be great. And she's
Yeah.
like, well, I've already got out some steaks and some shrimps, and I'm really
That sounds
looking forward-"
amazing.
Yes, but I didn't get it. She did it herself. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I've just failed as a son because I was going to send her some stuff, but everything I went through, I was like, this is all basic stuff. There's nothing
Yeah,
that
but-
I can get my mom that she's going to be like, this is amazing. So I was like, I'll just get her dinner. and then it failed. So now I'm getting her
Right.
dinner tonight, a Mother's Day dinner.
But it's like sometimes we just want basic stuff. I mean, I'm not a mom, but like as far as gifts go, it's like sometimes we don't want an elaborate thing. Sometimes we want steak and shrimp, and that's just enough.
Yeah, I know. I called my grandma. I was going to get her something, but I'm like, she just wants the call. She just wants to
Sometimes we
talk to
just we
somebody.
want the call, we want the validation, we want the words. I mean, that's why I like a card, because how rarely do people actually tell each other how they feel? So I'd rather just a card, just
You love
with nice
cards.
thoughts.
You love the cards.
Well, it's like, don't buy me a fucking waterproof speaker. Just give me a card and tell me how you feel about me. That's my love language. I love a little validation.
I'll take
I'm
that
not
waterproof
really.
speaker.
We already have one. Do you know what I
I
mean?
know,
You
but
have one. I have one.
mine's looking worse for wear. It says it's water. Maybe it's not waterproof because it's just rusting up like crazy.
I would say treat yourself, but we know that you struggle with that. But I would say treat
Well,
yourself.
right now we're in a
maybe.
pandemic. We haven't had like a full-time gig in a long time, and I've just moved, so there's a lot of
Oh,
yeah.
throw it in. You're
I'm
already at Target. Throw one in. They're $20. Throw it in.
Look, here's the fucking thing. You see something under $10 and you're like, yeah, we need that. When you're at Target, you're just like, fuck, we
Yeah,
need that for sure. Like, and then they add up.
exactly.
You're like, well, I got 62 things for under $10 a piece. So like, we're fucking good. Oh wait,
You're not.
$700 bill.
You're not going into Target and spending less than $250. There's just no way.
I know we've done it. We went to Target, Home Depot, all these other
Yeah,
places.
I say throw it in.
Cindy put out she has a birthday twin in her partnership, like in her firm,
Yeah, she was saying.
because she's a and. Have you ever been a part of that where it's like, have you
No.
ever worked in an office?
I primarily only worked at offices.
Well, I just know you from working at a theater most of your life, and then on top of that, like a pet grooming place.
When I became, me when I became.
No,
an
you were working at a
actor.
you were working at a pet place before that.
Oh, no, I don't think we knew each other when I was working at the doggy daycare.
We did. Because then
Oh,
that went right into like the training center.
right. And I promptly got fired after that. But I've only really worked at offices. I was an academic advisor. I was I was like, yeah, I was very much.
I just say that because of the culture. So I would hate to have somebody in my office have the same birthday because I'd be like, you bringing out that cake for both of us? You fucking kill yourselves.
Oh
Kill your fucking
yeah.
selves.
I never like experienced that. I also
You
get
didn't
like
even tell them when you, I could see that. You didn't even tell them when it was your birthday. You're just like, okay,
no.
everybody's
Listen, I love my birthday. Like, I love my birthday. I love everyone's birthday. I think it's like such a special time, but I'm not like ring a ding ding office. I'm 21. Everyone here is like 40 plus. Celebrate with me. No. Jan says that Sheldon bought her mom blue cheese and she almost cried. Beautiful gift.
Wow.
Shayla says I shipped my
nice.
mom a cake, which is incredible.
That's really cool.
Jen says my goal is to always get a card that will make them cry. So true. Yeah. So, and Stephanie says pre-pandemic there were 10 of us in my office and 2 people had the same birthday. There you go.
Yeah. That's why I bring it up. I was in the Sketchersons at one point, which was just a sketch troupe that did a weekly show.
Sure.
In total, there was probably under 15 people in that cast, I would say. I can't remember the exact number, but 3 of them had the same birthday. Another
Okay.
2 of them had the same birthday, and another 2 of them, which was me and someone else, had the same birthday.
Can I ask you
So
something?
7 people with 3 birthdays in total.
I just want to ask you, why are you on this?
I don't know. We said happy birthday, and I'm just like going, I don't know.
You're really like obsessed with birthday twins.
No,
and I'm-
statistically, apparently, it's more uncommon to not have a birthday twin if you're like in a place of like an X amount of people, which isn't that many. Because they're
Right.
just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't.
apparently-
All of this means nothing. Who cares about it?
I don't want to be rude, but like, I just don't know why you're obsessed with this because I couldn't care less, but I'm really trying to support you as a friend.
I just think on this podcast we obsess about a lot of things that maybe aren't that important.
I mean, fair, obviously.
We deep
but-
dipped into Mad Hatters for 3 episodes, probably.
No, but that's the difference is
Interesting.
That's interesting.
I get it.
Birthday twins, I couldn't
Care
This is
less.
Like if this was brought up to me on a first date, I would leave in the middle of it because what a crazy, ridiculous, useless conversation.
Have you ever ducked out of a date? Like, have you ever been like bailed
Well, I'd
on
have
one?
to be on one too.
I just want to know what your move would be. Of like, is it like I'm just gonna go to the bathroom and then
It's
don't
one
come
drink.
back?
One drink. Can we get you another? No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So that's a pretty smart way. That sounds like a normal person would do that.
Yeah.
Where I would probably sweat through my pants and go, "What the fuck? How do I do this without hurting this person?"
Well, the thing is, I'm all talk, right? Because if I was actually on a date, I would.
Nobody's on a date right now. We're in a pandemic still.
I know people. I mean, that are meeting people. You know, they're on a walk date. That's the tough one. The walk
It
is how
is
do you outwalk
crazy.
that? Yeah.
It is
Well, I
crazy that
thought
we went through a year and people have got married, people have had
yep.
babies, people have been on
People
dates, like people are meeting people.
people
It's a
have been
lot.
divorced. People have processed trauma. I mean, everyone's really doing something, and that's crazy.
Yeah. Jameson, don't try to reel me back in because Stacey will rip my head off.
I
Okay.
literally couldn't care less about birthday twins. I hate to be that person, but I just need to be honest.
That's true. That's true.
Tasha says that her birthday and Mother's Day were just 3 days apart. So she said it's been a good week. She got a juicer and a paraffin wax treatment kit. Hell
Whoa.
yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
Well, you got to Google that because first of all, a juicer, such a treat. I will say the downside of a juicer is cleaning the juicer, and
Oh, I know what a juicer is. I was deep diving into those. I think probably when we were on the main stage together is when I was like really going nuts. And I got one of those centrifugal ones that was just like, and to clean it
really
is
slow. Yeah,
a bitch.
I loved my juicer. I got pretty into it.
But cleaning it just
I
made
will
it so
say
you don't use it.
I got vaxxed.
Congratulations.
I got vaxxed. And here, let me tell you a little tale. So Ontario is absolutely cuckoo full bananas. So
I'm
you
watching
have
this.
to
It's like the freaking end game. Like it's like fucking
Hunger
what's it called? The
Games.
Hunger Games of like
Yeah.
people are mentioning it all the time.
And it is the Hunger Games. Like literally the reason I got vaccinated was like, first of all, thank you Vax Hunters, which is on Twitter. If you're a Canadian listener, get on Twitter and follow them. It is wild and like absolutely absurd that this is what we have to do to get vaccinated. But this is the facts of the facts of the facts. So anyways, and just people I know, they were like one day, hey, can you drop everything and let's go? And we all went, and they were opening the line to non-hotspot people, and got in.
That's the way it started down here, and then it turned into a thing where people were getting mad that that was happening because they're like, "No, you don't deserve. You shouldn't get it. You should wait till somebody that definitely
ridiculous.
desperately needs it." And I'm like, I
Yeah.
get it. I would never take from like a teacher or a nurse or like whatever. I'm like, if they're struggling, whatever. But they were literally throwing vaccines in the garbage. And
Well,
you're like,
this
well,
is
if I
the
go stand in
problem.
line all day, I'm not taking
Yeah.
it from someone. I'm taking it from the garbage.
I was in that line for about 3 hours ish. And yeah, I understand. Like, obviously, we want to get the people who need the vaccines the
Yeah.
most. But, like, also, we need to hold and recognize that these vaccines are being thrown out. So, when you get a call and you are able to drop things and go, I think that should be encouraged and celebrated if you're able and have the capabilities to do that. So, people like, not getting behind that, it's just like everyone should just get vaccinated. When you're in there talking to the healthcare workers, they just want everyone to get vaccinated. They do not care. It's like these would be thrown out. So we're so glad you're here, and here you go.
Our neighbor was one of those nurses, and she explained it to us and then got us on this awesome list, which we never had to use because LA all of a sudden started vaccinating everybody, which was great.
Yeah.
But so what it is they have to open a pack of 10 each time they do it. So every station that you're at opens a pack of 10, but like if they only use one, those 9 and that one's going to go in the garbage. The next
Exactly.
So it's not going to be a lot at the end of the day, but they are going to have an amount that they
They're
can't
gonna have an
save for the
amount.
next day.
So if you can go. I mean, that may not be everyone's opinion. So
I hope that everybody's getting their vaccines. I mean, not as a political, get your vaccines, don't be an anti-vaxxer.
no,
Although
yeah,
that's true too. That's true
actually
too.
political. Yeah, get your vaccine. I guess Jason got right wing over the last 2 weeks, so that's pretty cool. I'll
No,
tell
'cause
you politically, get a vaccine. Go.
No, I was only saying it as like not as a political statement, but I'm hoping everybody does get them that wants them. And if you don't want them, you should get them. That's true too.
Yeah, so Jan, I think is kind of feeling what everyone's feeling and having a panic attack about stealing your vax. And both the pharmacist and vax hunter said, just go. And I'm very much that. And anyone who's like poo-pooing or like has judgment on that can literally kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. It's like, this is like anyone getting vaccinated is a celebration and is like a yeehaw and like great. And that's amazing. So do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Cindy's in the midst of it too. Like she's in Florida where, you know, it's a full-time spring break all year round. And she's double masking her and getting her second dose next week.
Jordan says in the UK, we just get a letter when it's our turn, which is great.
Of course. Of course, in Britain, it's something really proper and formal. It was probably written with like one of those feather pens and it's just beautiful. And you're like, you get there and you're like, great, let's have a little vax.
Just, you know, give it to me. You know, I showed up. I didn't even know what it was. I'm a Pfizer gal. And she went, you know, did I bleed? Of course. Did the woman say, wow, you didn't tell me you would bleed like that? And I said, this is new for me and for you. And thank you so much to you and yours.
Yeah, feather pen, a quill. Thanks, Elizabeth. You're right. 100%.
Yeah, I moved past that. That was great.
Well, the other thing is, so you asked me about Mother's Day and when I did, and this reminded me now because we got a gift from one of a couple friend of ours that they're from England, and it's all these things that are like care packages from England. So we got to try all these like cool foods from England. One of them was a scone mix, and I was like, Jenny loves scones. So on Mother's Day, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to make her scones.
Right.
I found out that I'm a terrible baker. They did not rise, and we had burnt cookies for breakfast with clotted cream.
Scones are tough.
I didn't think they were. It seems like the directions were very simplistic, and somehow I messed it up and burnt the hell out of scones. And they weren't even that burnt. It's just they didn't rise, so they were the size of like terrible cookies.
And you know what would have been easier? A Postmate. You know what I mean? Basic.
Sure.
Order them in.
I like being in the kitchen. I love the kitchen.
Yeah, but you know what? When it's like, if it was my Mother's Day, I'd be like, you know what? This isn't about you and what you enjoy and what you need. I need a fucking risen scone. So, like, but
isn't it the thought that counts? No, the thought doesn't go in my fucking belly, and you gotta kiss my ass.
You know, no one will talk about that, and I want to do it for everyone. When it's someone's day, it isn't about you and what you need to give them the gift.
Well, it's one of those like you know that pancake mix you can get where it's just add like they're terrible, and he's like, that's how easy this scone mix was.
Said pancakes.
Pancakes.
You said pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes.
Pancakes. And Tash is right. I see scones get messed up all the time on the Great British Baking Show. First of all, it's like making risotto on Top Chef. You will go home. No one's eating you go in. These scones seemed easy. Said no one ever.
Said the box. The box told me it's like great.
Well, they want you to buy it.
Jen asked me, did you add baking powder / soda? I did not, because it was not a part of the recipe. It just said add an egg and a quarter cup of milk. And then the scone mix was supposed to do the rest. And I set them there at room temperature for 10 minutes. It says 10 minutes to let them rise. I never baked before. So I was like, oh, they didn't rise on the table after I put like the egg wipe on them or whatever. I guess they rise when you bake them. Like a muffin would go inside the oven.
Sure.
That's not what happened. They stayed just as flat as when I put them in. And I was like, oh, okay, this is terrible.
Then Jenny had to sit there on the bed.
She said she liked it, but I'm like,
you
lied. She's lying out of her teeth.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's like, great. I'll make do on my day. On her day, she still has to make it okay for everybody else. Classic mother.
Well, she got the most beautiful flowers. She got the most.
Great.
That's
great. Nothing like flowers when you go, these are beautiful. Well, that experience is done. I do love flowers, but it is so funny to me. Like,
I don't get the love for flowers, but I'm getting them now, and I get them, and I'm like, oh, it brings you joy for a long time. So okay.
Well, it gives you joy for about 2.5 days, where then you go, what's that smell? And you're like, oh, the flowers are going bad.
Oh, and to be honest, I get yeah, they're beautiful and they smell good and it's nice to have in your house.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I always thought they were like an accessory to a gift. But
I
now
agree. No,
but now
I
what I'm finding
agree.
out is maybe with my wife or like even my mom is like, great. It comes with a card. So then it's like, great, you get the card and the
Right.
flowers, and you're like, that's all they really want right now. Which is
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I love flowers. Flowers are super expensive sometimes. Like I'll look at a bouquet or, but they're really beautiful and that's great. And also, I just want to say this. I just also want to send some love to people who find Mother's Day a really hard day or
Mhm.
I don't have a relationship with my mom.
I was gonna bring this up.
So were
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, because there's something that happened this weekend. I was like, oh.
What?
Did you watch SNL this weekend?
I did.
So that starting the cold open this week was them all being like wishing their mothers a happy birthday. And I was like, at the
Yeah.
end of it, I was like, who didn't have their mom there? And then we started
Mm-hmm.
going through the cast members and going, that's kind of like, how are you in that writer's room when they're like, we're all gonna bring our mom in, we're all have these bits, and it's like, then there was
Yeah.
we counted two castmates that were like, they didn't bring their mom in. That's fucking.
Well, maybe they couldn't,
That's what I mean. Like that's got to be hard. That's got to be difficult. And I was like, I felt really bad. I'm like,
Totally.
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I think that it's like, and I think, you know what? I think it's a really beautiful day. I think
Yeah.
sometimes, it can be also a hard day. You look at like people who
Yes.
have
Discuss
moms
SNL.
who are like super supportive and loving, and I love celebrating that. But I just also want to send love to anyone who finds it a harder day or is struggling with fertility and all of those things. It can be quite a
Course.
layered, complicated day. So I just want to like say I see you, I hear you, and I'm sending a little extra love your way as well.
100%. It's even,
Yeah.
it's even more than, those people that are like, I don't care about Valentine's Day. There's those couples that are like, we don't celebrate it because the other 364 days we celebrate. I'm like, okay, that's
And they're
fine.
liars and then they got divorced during the pandemic. Like people who hate Valentine's Day, it's like, then you're not in a relationship because I don't say I love you every day.
But even those people, I'm like, I get it. If you're not in a relationship, Valentine's Day might be like, it's a reminder that I'm single. That people don't
Yeah.
want to, if there's someone out there that doesn't want to be single. But Mother's Day is still different because it's like you just said, like there's so many different layers and it could be, I don't know why I'm focusing on the negative, but like, yeah, of course.
No, but I think we can talk about it. I think let's normalize also having complicated, bad relationships with your parents because your parents are supposed to take care of you and love you and support you. And some of us don't have that. And it's okay to talk about it, and it's I think normalizing that because it's like when you explain to people that you don't have a relationship with your parents, whether it's through abuse, trauma, whatever, it is a very scary situation to open up to and share with people because the face, like I always joke, like people who's like, my parents are my best friends, I'm like, we have nothing to talk about. If that's your personality trait, at a base, we are different people.
Yeah. Well,
You
I mean, you could go hang out with your dad in the basement on Father's Day and have a good time,
Well, no, I can't because my parents are together, right? So there isn't like I get to go home and isn't that fun? And that's just not the reality for me. And that's okay. And like, thank God for therapy and thank God for incredible friends and chosen family that I'm so blessed to have in my life. But that just isn't a reality for me. And that's not a reality for many people. So when people are like, call your mom or this is the time to fix it, sometimes it's not fixable and sometimes it isn't like a thing to mend. So,
Tasha's with you. She's high-fiving you from the other side of the digital world.
Oh, not having a close relationship with her mom. Yeah, I'm sending you love, Tash. And Elizabeth says, yeah, Mother's Day wasn't tricky, but wait until Father's Day. Exactly. It's really complicated. So I just thought I wanted to make a point today, not to like be the buzzkill, but just to say it's sometimes a very heavy, heavy day and hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's okay. Because there's nothing, when you explain to people you don't have this relationship or you like explain like that split, the face you get from a lot of people who aren't ready to take it is like, oh, she's different. Oh, she's a different person. You know what I mean?
Hey, everybody. This is my friend Stacy. doesn't.
Exactly.
We won't talk
Wait,
about it.
or when you go, what are you doing for the holidays? And you're like, well, I'm staying with myself. And everyone goes, oh no.
Meanwhile, cut to the holidays, they're all fighting at a family dinner and you're at a spa going,
I'm just in my house with my dogs with wine going, let's watch Charlie Brown again. You know? But just that look of like, oh, she doesn't have that. Oh, she's an orphan at 35. It's hard. You know, it's
I want
weird.
some more, please. And yes, I'll have it because it's my box of wine and no fucking problem. Yeah.
Oh, this is bullshit. Melissa says, I was raised by my dad and didn't really have a relationship with my mom. So in elementary school, they always had a Mother's Day tea and they wouldn't let me bring my dad. That's bullshit. And I'm very sorry, Melissa. That's absolute
That's a
shit.
footloose city right there, man, where they're just
Yeah.
like, no, dads aren't allowed, dancing's not allowed, fucking drugs aren't allowed.
It's just like, that's so hard and tough. And like, God, you know, I've been there.
We might have missed Haley's comment during this too earlier. Like, can we talk about SNL?
Oh, Jason wants to move away. So this
No,
everyone,
I don't want to move away. It
this
sounded
is
like
what
there-
I'm
it sou-
talking about. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
it sounded like there was a completion to that.
No, I'm kidding. I just knew it would freak you out.
Of course it would.
Jason doesn't care about anyone who's got trouble with their parents, because we can all just go to the basement, I guess. AJ, we can all just knock on heaven's door. Yeah, that's tough. We can talk about SNL.
No. Let's talk more about your mom. Let's go.
I'm happy to. I'm ready to break the norms. 2021, break it. No shame with baggage. Baggage is fun.
Sure.
How are you carrying it? In what luggage? You know?
Yes, I have baggage, but it's designer. Let's date. Go.
Oh my God. Designer, have you heard of Walmart 725 Originals? So that's
My Kirkland purse. Let's go.
it is, but you know what? It is really funny. And then we'll move on to SNL. Like when you like, for me, like I'm a liar, right? So like when you have like a, you know, not the most normal upbringing, like you get used to like pretending you're normal, like judging. Like once you get to school and you look around and you go, oh wait, everyone's not doing what we're doing back home.
Well, you saw Roseanne and you were like, that's families.
Well, and you know, mine was a bit more, PG-13 than Roseanne. But I was like, oh, on a good day, this is it. And yeah, but you get used to like I used to go to school and like just fully dressed up. Like, hello, grade 1. Is everyone doing great? Everyone got their lunches? Mine too. But having to cover it up where it's like, what'd you do for Mother's Day? And like, if you don't want to unpack the whole thing, you're like, oh, it's great. You know, same old. When really,
Gave her a book of homemade coupons.
yes. Yeah. Tasha says, my friend's parents pretty much adopted me growing up. Oh yeah. You find that like little pocket, you know? But yeah, we can talk about SNL. It was what a wild ride. So Elon Musk of it all.
Yeah, he hosted, and then I guess because it was going live internationally for the first time. Is that true? I kind of heard that
Or it
once,
went live
but
on YouTube or something.
something
You
like
watch
that.
it
So
on
people
the-
would be like, because they were just like, I mean, Elon Musk is the sort of, I don't know, world icon that he is or whatever. But
Yeah. What'd you think? I thought the monologue, first I was like, this is going to be a full
Monologue was
garbage.
good.
The monologue was good until Kelsey Priest, his mother, came out.
That's true.
And I felt ruined the energy. And I'll say that. I don't know her personally. She can go cry
100%.
about
It was. What she care? She walked out, and I was like, oh, maybe he is an alien. Because when she walked out, I was like, well, there's something going on here. But
He
like,
does move in a way, like just like his presence gives me like Dr. Evil vibes. Like he's just like a villain.
I will say, like, I kind of like Elon Musk a little. A lot. Well, I don't know the background enough to talk about it well. Like, I know that people don't like him because they're like, oh, there's a lot of things that are wrong with Elon Musk. But I didn't watch him on Joe Rogan. I don't listen to what he says. But like to create SpaceX is pretty. I still think it's pretty fucking cool. Like that he made fun of himself and was like, I know you guys think whatever. Like, I created SpaceX, I created Tesla. You think I'm going to be a normal dude? I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think you're
Also,
going to be a
like
normal
he's
dude.
like, yeah, do you think I'm going to be normal? No.
And then he did
I
something with his eyes that I'm like, if that was intentional, solid comedy, buddy.
I don't think anything was intentional. He he was something else. I think some of the writing was really terrible, like poo poo.
The sketches themselves, there was,
The
yeah, it wasn't the
sketches
greatest week. That's for sure.
themselves
There was
were
some,
okay. Let's talk about it. So the Gen Z hospital, give me a break.
it did feel like they were just going, that's what kind of caught me off guard right away. Cause I'm like, oh, if it's going international and like they have Elon Musk, so are they trying to skew younger on this
Fred, if you
episode?
are wondering if Jason is saying,
I might have.
he's calling him Elon Musk. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And now that you said that, I can't get that out of my head and I don't remember what his actual name is.
It
I
is
actually
that,
have
but
no.
like
Okay,
you're saying
good. I
it
was
right.
like, that is his name. No, he wrote Evil Musk.
Oh, sorry.
They call him Evil Musk.
Maybe. Yeah, people really were upset. Like I mean,
But it seemed
yeah.
that it's like when your parents go, "Oh, you guys talk like this, and we're going to talk like this." It's like they were just trying to reference vernacular of a generation,
Yeah, but
and
let me tell you,
that's not
but it wasn't even
well written.
accurate. It wasn't
No.
even accurate. And also, like, it's like me talking about, like, if I go, you know what's popping off on Instagram? Everyone's like, ew, who's this granny? Like, you
Yes,
just,
that's
you
what
can't,
that sketch felt like, and I was
why
like, "Oh
couldn't
man,
they just
that's."
be characters in that? But whatever.
And I
That
get it.
sketch,
I'm a 45-year-old nothing person that can't that wouldn't write that sketch. I can't write that sketch either. But like, it
okay,
just felt weird to start with that one because normally they put like one of their stronger sketch. You start with
well,
that. That
none of them
sketch
were,
is like,
none of them were strong. I would say the
yeah.
digital shorts were funny.
Which was the digital shorts? What happened in them?
There
I
was
can't
3
remember.
digital shorts. The
You know
one
what? I
was
don't know if I
like,
watched the whole episode yet. I think I'm halfway through it. But what
okay,
was the? What was the?
I keep trying to tell you, but you have a lot
Yeah.
of questions
What?
about how you didn't
Huh?
watch it. So,
Okay.
okay. One of the sketches was about like a party after the like kind of everyone's vaccinated and they're talking and they're
Yes.
like, who is this person? Do I
Yeah.
know this person?
Yeah.
So there was that one, and then
There was a running order problem too, right? Because
there was
in that
3 cousin lover
yeah,
sketches.
in a row. And it was like I was watching Mikey Day give that during the Umi, I think it was called. I can't remember the character's
You mean
name.
the Sprockets ripoff?
100%. The Icelandic show, and he started going in that, and I'm like, he knows. He's well aware that this running order is off, and you can't go from like a long runner of a cousin joke to the next
Kissing
sketch
cousins.
is
Yeah.
because the next one is also about cousins. I was like,
Let me tell
this
you,
is weird.
there was nothing more offensive than putting Pete Davidson in that Icelandic show, which was an absolute turd sandwich of a situation, and then him doing Steve Buscemi, but not even an impression. Like it was truly so insulting. I was
I
like,
couldn't tell if it was Steve Buscemi or Chris
what?
Cuomo. It looked like he looked more like Chris Cuomo than he did friggin' Steve Buscemi, and then didn't
Murder,
have any sort of
Murder
murder.
Dirter. That was really funny. I actually
Yeah,
really liked Murder Dirter. Again,
yeah.
it's Kate McKinnon, like was just killing it.
And Beck Bennett in that was pretty good too.
Beck Bennett is so hot. And then there was another one, and I can't remember what it was. That was another like digital short. I hated most of the sketches.
It wasn't that great of an up, and I mean, like it's impossible. It's a hard job to like come up every week. SNL is such a weird thing because people remember their generation being like that was the best, but mostly it's because you watch and you remember the best sketches. But like week after week, there's going to be some real bad stuff because it's impossible to come up with a great show all the way through. It happens so
Yeah,
rarely. But at the
yeah,
same time, it's like this one was pretty bad through most of it. And you had Elon Musk, and it was supposed to be a big thing, and they really kind of didn't have a
well,
great show,
I think that
which is too
that's
bad.
well, I don't think this was like particularly the worst.
Oh, maybe not.
I just don't think
There,
it's that
there wasn't a
great.
lot that I loved in it.
No, but that seems to be like I watch SNL like pretty weekly, and this is
Yeah.
kind of the vibe. But I really didn't like that Icelandic show in any capacity. I thought it was really bad, and I thought the beginning I was like Sprockets, literally Sprockets, Mike
Yeah.
Myers. Like we didn't,
Sure,
you
there's
know.
differences, but like It went in your mind. It went in my mind immediately. So it's definitely like, great. We're just going to do sort of a.
Yeah.
I know that they're different from different countries and it's very different, but like at the same time, it's like we're
But
just
the
going to do
vibe
this
of
sort
it.
of weird, awkward talk show because we're from in either German or Scandinavian country. It's like, yeah, a
Yeah.
little weird.
Oh, and then
Is Iceland
Wario.
Scandinavian? Maybe.
Everyone got really mad about the Wario sketch. And then Grimes came
That's what I
out.
haven't seen yet.
And when Grimes came out, I was like, ugh. And that whole sketch was so bad. It was terrible. That was maybe one of the worst sketches on the planet. It was so bad.
That's the one I haven't. That's where we left off. So I haven't seen that yet. The news was still great. I mean, the news is always, those guys are rock
Can
solid.
like Bowen Yang just get the desk? Like, we're done now. He's amazing.
He's amazing. I think
Like,
that he
I
brings
want
great
him-
characters to the desk, though, and
No,
he's
I
also
want
like a
him-
great sketch artist. Like he's
I
great in the
want
sketches.
him. I don't like Colin Jost.
I like the game that they've set up between each other.
Oh,
Like
give me a break.
I don't mind it.
When you have to, okay, this is the thing. When you have to set up a game to show the audience that you have chemistry, you don't have chemistry. Give Bowen Yang the desk. Because this, like,
Maybe he doesn't
fake-
want it.
Who wouldn't want it? He's on it
Well,
all the time.
I'm saying this like, yes, if they gave him, he would do. Obviously, he'd do great at it. He's
Thank
great
you,
in all those
Jan.
characters. 100%. I think he's great. I think what I'm getting at is like, but he's also great at sketches, and normally the person
He
that does
can
the desk
be in both.
backs out a little bit of that, and he's also great at bringing the characters to the desk. Like he's sick at that. So like,
I just don't like Colin Jost. I don't love the desk the way that it is, and I don't like this.
I guess that's what I'm asking too. Is the desk is being the anchor on SNL what people see as like the coveted spot? Because I never did. I didn't see that as the coveted spot.
I don't know.
Like,
I just
wanna
think
be a sketch
his
artist.
like. I don't know. That's up to you're projecting your shit onto him.
No, I'm no, but I'm asking that. But you also are. You're like, give him the desk. But I'm like, maybe he doesn't want it. Is that the coveted spot? I guess is the question I'm asking for everybody. Am I missing something here?
I don't know. Like Jimmy Fallon was on the desk and he was in a bunch of sketches.
I'm not saying you can't do both. Yes, Norm Macdonald did it.
I'd want to be on the desk. I'd want to do both. I'd of course want to do it.
Yeah.
Bowen Yang is everything. He's one of the strongest performers on that show.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a bright light. His satire is on point. His connection to
He
like
kicked the door
trends,
open when he
pop
walked in.
culture. Yeah, like I don't think like, no one's being like Gen Z. Like he just naturally knows what's going on. And I just really enjoy him. And I just want him to have everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope that
He will. He'll be the next big thing that comes out of there.
Because, like,
Well, I mean, there'll be a lot of big people that come out of there,
Colin
but
Jost just like licking his lips after each joke that he thinks is funny makes my stomach turn.
yeah, you just don't like Colin Jost. That's what it is. I think that's the bigger.
I just
point
don't
here.
like. I don't buy the vibe with him and Che. It's always like it doesn't flow naturally.
Yeah. And Haley's right. Yeah, it's normally composed of like the stronger writers or the head writers, because Seth Meyers was a head writer for a while when he was doing the desk,
But
and
the
I think
fact
Tina
that
Fey was also
Colin
the.
Jost is the head writer is like, I just don't get it. Jameson says, as comedy creators, bless you, as if. Do you think the news is just more ripe for comedy versus creating a sketch from scratch?
I think it's just different writing.
It's different writing, I think.
Yeah, you're looking
Michael
for
Che is
punchlines to things
also a
rather
head
than like
writer.
find. Yeah.
Oh my God. I think, yeah, I think it's the type of writing that you enjoy. Like I would say when Jay and I were like working together at Second City and then even writing our own shows, we were more like relationship based, situational based opposed to like taking the news. But there are people that we know that are like incredible creators who really lean into what's happening around the world and being like very satirical with that. So,
But even aside from that, like even when we did sketches that were like politically based and had a strong sort of politics point of view, or we did heavy satire sketches, it's still different writing than going in and being like, here's the setup, here's the joke, here's the setup, here's the joke.
Setup
It's very
joke
different.
is like setup joke is so not Like, it's so not for everyone. Like, it's such a particular skill. One of my favorite comedians is Tom Henry, who's like an incredible joke writer, and like truly check out his comedy special because he's so gifted, and is such a good like setup punch writer,
Yeah.
which is like not always everyone's forte, I think.
Will Forte.
You know?
Will Forte was funny.
Will Forte, I love you forever and always. I am always here when you need me. I will be right here.
You noticed I did last night? I went back and watched a bit of the Californians and just started laughing so much.
Californians is super, super funny, but I remember watching that lot, like watching it as it was like coming out and was like, I don't care about this.
I know, because we were working together at that point, and I do remember coming in and being like, "What was that last night?" But then it's one of those ones that a week later you're like, "I don't know, it's pretty good."
It's just the thing I love is Fred Armisen's absolute commitment.
100%.
And that was the thing about Elon Musk was like, I want half the confidence that this billionaire has because he left that show being like, it was incredible. What a great show.
He's not wrong. I don't think he's wrong. Like the show might have not been the best overall, but like he didn't do poorly. He did okay. And for somebody that has zero acting experience, he did pretty well.
But that's the show. Like, I also like, regardless of how you feel about the type of person that he is, which is totally fair, but it's like SNL is meant to, like, it's not like you're the host, so you're supposed to be good. It's supposed to show the talent of writers who can make anyone look good and the performers around them.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you get like Peyton Manning gets on there and like writing good or bad, a sports guy who has zero background in this goes on there and kills it. And you're like, oh, that's pretty funny. It's like when LeBron James did, what was the Amy Schumer movie he was in?
Trainwreck.
Which I haven't seen, but everyone's like, LeBron James is hilarious.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Why? Okay, because this is wild to me.
I brought it as soon as I brought it up. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get busted for this. No problem.
Yeah, because why are you referencing things? You don't even know if it's good. You haven't even watched it.
No, but everybody that talks about it goes, oh, you should see it. LeBron James is actually really good in it. That's what they tell me, and I'm like, oh,
he's hilarious. And why didn't you watch it? Do you want to talk about your issue with women today?
Sure. Right after Mother's Day, post Mother's Day, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Why didn't I watch that movie? Because it was one of those things. I can't remember what's going on in my life, but everyone went and saw it, and then I'm like, okay, let's go see it. And everyone's like, no, we already saw it. And I was like, fuck, it's one of those movies that just passed me by. And then,
well, I
could go watch it at any point, but like,
LeBron James is so funny in Trainwreck, and his chemistry with Bill Hader is legendary. It's so good. Really funny stuff.
God, I must remember that.
First of all, Bill Hader, like, hey, whatever, like if you're around, I don't know if you're seeing anybody, but
and Jameson's right. Like the reason why I brought up Peyton Manning because other athletes have been on that show too, like Wayne Gretzky or even Peyton Manning's brother.
I don't remember. I'm quite young.
Well, here I'll tell you.
Yeah.
They were not good. They were terrible. Writing good or bad, it didn't matter. Like they were just robots.
I think that like to be a successful actor, I think that you need to not get embarrassed. Like you just have to go for it. You just have to fully commit, just like not care. And I think that's where I struggle. You know?
Yeah.
You got to just commit. You got to just Elon Musk it, you know? Just have a good time and commit. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, like SNL is not, again, like no one is just going to come on and just, you know, be if you're not naturally funny, like look at Adam Driver, who I think is one of the best hosts of recent memory that just comes on and absolutely crushes it. And you wouldn't think, but he is just, there is like a musical, there is like a music to comedy, and some people can just pick it up and some people cannot, and that is fine.
Well, it's the oldest saying, comedy is timing. So yeah, it's like that's
but you can tell instantly, and you can learn, like you can pick it up. You don't,
10,000 hours, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know.
I know what you want to say.
What?
Some people 10,000 hours don't
Yeah.
matter.
Listen, you think I'm gonna have 10,000 hours and be like a good accountant? No, I don't care.
In that 10,000 hours, 70 people are going to go to jail on my fault. My fault.
10,
I did their
10,000
taxes wrong.
Listen, I've been reading my whole life. Do I like it? Absolutely not. I haven't gotten it. And listen, 10,000 hours, you know? And I couldn't give a shit about sitting down. When people go, oh, look at this reading nook I've made. Couldn't care less, right? I'm just saying the music of reading, I don't have, okay?
I don't care about the nook if it's like aesthetically pleasing to the room. I'd be like, oh, that's a cool piece of furniture.
No, that's why they created Audible. Hey, you still want to get in
I'm
on
on
this
it.
trend?
And
Let's
tell you
make
what,
it
I'm
more
actually getting bored of that. Now I'm like, oh, I got to listen to a fucking book again. Jesus Christ.
Well, I had to return one because like the author read it.
Can
and
you
he,
return books on
yes.
Audible?
Oh yes, I did because the author was reading it and he was like, it was 1967, and I was like, shut the fuck up.
Is this David Sedaris?
No, I love David Sedaris.
I love David Sedaris, but that sounded almost a bit like a David Sedaris impression.
No, I love David Sedaris. Oh my god, thank you. No, hello SNL. I've got one. No, I think
I can do all the Sedarises. That's it.
I truly think this is what I'll say about like everyone can learn comedy, but I think you have to get better at comedy, you have to become more self-aware. So when you take your weaknesses, you make them strengths. So like Elon Musk is like not naturally funny. The thing I thought that was interesting about his monologue was like he was comfortable in his silences, like getting a breath and like starting his like, you know what I mean? Where I would be out of breath, freaking out. So like, you know.
Well, you can see it and you just watch a bad monologue and go, oh yeah, that's what these people don't understand the timing of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
which I'm sure is a trick. It's a hard trick as well with like never being on stage before and then being like, okay, the audience is laughing at that one. Like, when do I jump in? Like, I'm sure that that's the kind of thoughts that are racing through their mind. They're just like, I didn't, this wasn't in rehearsal where they were laughing at it. Or maybe it was. I don't know. I've never.
Do you remember when we worked at Second City and we were on the main stage and then they used to make us go like, hey, do this, take some classes.
Oh yes, of course. Their moneymaker,
yeah. Come take some class, and it's like, of course, take some classes, like have some fun. But like, if you want to do that, you got to give up the dream of having anything nice.
Yep. And you're going to miss a lot of important events that happened in your actual life.
We should have been like, hey, we noticed a lot of you are paying for your drinks with bills. If you want to start paying in change, become an improviser.
If you are counting change to see if you can get that last drink or not, we know you.
Hey, do you want to know which ATMs give out 5s and 10s? Become an improviser. Get in here.
How did we not have one of those at Second City?
I know.
We should have petitioned to be like, great, you guys just get one of those ATM machines that puts out dollar bills. And then that's great.
Do you want your spouse to always be disappointed and mad at you? Become an improviser. Get in here.
Everybody's excited when they come see on the main stage, but then they go home and they go, I think he's failing. I think he's failing at life. But
no, the best was like I remember leaving shows at Second City. I've said this story a million times, so it's not interesting, but like leaving the show or getting to the show with wet hair in a helmet on a bike that I got from Canadian Tire, where you're like, meet, and everyone's like, hello. And you're like,
cream of the crop. It's because I did see that happen when I first started at Second City. Like the person that I was looking up to did ring their bell and drive away on a bike, and this was like a middle-aged person. I was like, "That's what I'm striving for." And at the moment, I kind of was a little let down. I was like, "But here we go."
Did you ever, whenever you were on like a set, like your first like gig on TV, and you saw like an actor get a takeout container and just fill it with Kraft, and you're like. You get to eat this when you get home. It's free. And you're like, what? Wait, we're not all rich? Wait a second. What do you mean it just stays the same?
It gets worse?
The government's going to want all this money back?
Oh shit.
Jan goes, that's why I only ever took cabs home from Second City, keeping the illusion alive. Oh God, did I love taking a cab.
I
But
only did it
yeah,
on Friday nights because they by union rules, they had to give you a cab chit and go here.
the best was when I got Second City. I was like, cool, I'm getting paid full time, baby. Ooh. And now it's different where everyone gets their own cab chit, but like, or I don't know when I was there, but like when we were there, it was like, we got two. So
Yeah.
who's going
Who's going
east
east
and
and who's going west?
west? Do you want to get home in an hour and a half?
It was basically a taxi bus. It's like everybody get in and we'll drop you off at a stop near your house in a taxi.
And then you had to like, talk to students who were like, I want to be just where you're at. It's like, cool. Well, I'm not getting home
Okay.
till 11:35.
You might be the one without the seatbelt if you have a cast full of West people.
You, my friend, can get in the trunk. This is what success looks like, baby.
It's your first show, rookie. Get in the trunk. Or move east and you can go with Jennifer home.
Oh, God.
Oh,
my God.
it wasn't Jennifer because look, I didn't even realize this, but Jan literally was. I was the only one who lived east, so I had it made in the shade.
Yeah, we all lived west, so we would be like, we would all pile into the car together and just be like, we made it. We're full-time actors. Hey, remember when we all had our successful jobs before? Oh, I think that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, because I just
And then you realize it's like at the most, pretty much, it's a 2-year run. And you're like, oh, that's why they play NFL players a lot of money because they're just like, oh, yeah, they know that their careers are short and they have to like pay for the rest of their lives. But here we're like, they're at Second City. They're like, great, you're going to have this job for 2 years. And then see you later.
well, that's the thing, right? Like you work so hard, but it's God, it's so
It is a tough
funny.
job. It's a very tough job. I
I
don't
mean,
think
yeah. No, it just takes up a lot of your like. It's not for everyone. I just think it's like,
I mean, I loved it. I would have been the Keenan Thompson of Second City.
of course, but excuse me. But I think what's interesting is like you see it on TikTok and generally it's like this move away from a 9 to 5, this move away from like that being like not a great way to live your life. It's like, do this side hustle, try this thing, make your own money, be your own boss. It's like there is something beautiful and wonderful about a 9 to 5 and like security and like salary and like the grass is always greener on both sides. It's just so funny to
100%.
me that like all of us, obviously our passion and drive and what makes us so happy is performing live and like writing shows and connecting with an audience in that way. But it is interesting when we're like all piled in to one cab to get home in an hour and a half because it's free and all talking about how lucky we feel that we're in that moment, considering all of us had office jobs before, which were secure, which paid our bills, you know? I just think
But
that's
I
funny.
wonder too if there's like a lottery mentality to it. And what I mean by that is, so at my 9 to 5, I was like, great, here's my salary and this is what I'm going to make. And then maybe if I move up to like executive and this and
Yeah.
this, you kind of knew where you were going to go. And there was a ceiling of like, unless you become like upper management, which is like one person. Anyways, what I'm saying is like, you kind of knew where you were going to go. But it's like what we do, it's like, great, you nailed that one job. And that one job though could be massive. So it's like a lottery mentality of like, there's the lows and the highs are much different than this steady upwards of like a 9 to 5 job or
Yeah,
a
but I
supposed
don't-
steady rise of a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah, but that's what I hate about our industry is like,
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, you crave organization now that you've been in it for a long time. But I'm wondering if there was anything to that at the beginning of
Well,
like, oh,
I hate
cool,
the
there is a
lottery.
possibility.
well,
Yeah, I hate the
also
lottery too.
think it's like we're in
If I
an
play the
industry-
lottery and they're like pick 7 numbers, I'll go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I have just as much chance as anybody else to win it, and you
100%.
realize how dumb it is.
And it's also like, you know, just like the majority of your life is no. And then you get to maybe work a good year is maybe working like 5 to 10 times a year. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so funny to me that like those nights I was like, man, we got a cab for free. This is luxury.
Yeah. When you'd write a show, they would take you out for a dinner, remember? And that was just like, oh shit.
Okay. Those dinners were the best because the energy was like, fuck you. I'm going to drain your pocket, you $1 billion.
And what we didn't know is like, we weren't draining their pockets in any way, shape, or form. It was just like, this is what companies do when you celebrate something that they've get their employees have done something very well. And we were just like, 6 of us are going out there. Well, 8 of us are going out there, and we're gonna get a fucking. There's a drink on here that's a fucking $100.
Well, I just remember you being like, or us being like, whoa, Jason got a $40 steak. Fuck you guys, pay for it.
Meanwhile, the person that was running us was like, I remember in Chicago, we did like a $2 billion bill one night. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well then why are we getting so worried?
I don't even
Although I
know.
was stressed. It was still like, I remember the first time we did it, or maybe it was one with your cast, but I was sitting with Nigel being like, there's a shot on here for $100. Like this was no joke.
We were there.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
thought. We didn't get that though. They're like, oh, that one's off the menu tonight. And we don't have it with stock. And I was like, Klaus told you. In my mind, I was like,
don't name
they told you to do that.
don't name her.
I don't. It's nothing. He's nothing. He did nothing wrong. But I'm like, oh, the company was like, they know we're gonna order that, and they took it off. Although I wouldn't have anyway.
Well,
you know me. I'm scared of everything. So I was like,
I will
can't
say
order
this: one of my fondest memories working with Jason at Second City is we went for a cast dinner, and he proceeded to get what can only be described as a dessert cocktail in the middle of dinner. So.
Sure.
Everyone was like, I'm going to forget my name tonight. I'm going to forget it. I'm just going to get loose as a goose. Mm-hmm. And Jason was ordering like a chocolate martini. And the waiter, I remember the server was like, so this is like kind of an after dinner cocktail. And you're like, great, I'll have one of those right now.
Mint cherry. Fuck yes.
I'll have that with my mashed potatoes and gravy. Jenny goes, in my mind, you all went to Gabby's for this dinner. True. So true.
That's the true vibe that we would, but no. This was like, I think we went to a restaurant called One. Was it One?
Yeah, I remember my first
nice.
cast. I remember my first cast dinner. We went to like a dive bar, and I was like, "This. I don't even want to be here now. I just want to be home. I don't want to get like." Do you remember that?
Which one? When we went to you wanted to go home?
No, our first one before they got fancy. The first one I went to, we went to a place that sucked so much. It was a dive bar that we wouldn't even have gone to after hours, and people were leaving the table to go do shots at the bar, but it was well within ears, like you could see it, and our boss was like, "You don't have to hide that." You all were going.
I'll tell you this. That was the one show that was an anomaly. That wasn't when they started it later, because our first show we had a nice one, and then the second show I was in, kind of not good. I think if I remember correctly, they didn't do a nice thing, and then maybe it was like 2 in a row they didn't do a nice dinner for us, and I was like, oh, okay, that was
my only bad one, but it was but like literally we brought such Gabby's energy. And if you don't know Gabby's, which most people don't, it's just like this shitty, like
it's like
Fridays.
If Jack Astor's was just a pub.
Well, is Jack Astor's in the States?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so it's also like a Chili's. Imagine like a Chili's, but like they're like, we're out of business. This is the last meal. Sit where you can. That's what Gabby's was. And just to see these degenerate comedians, we all would dress up in our nicest attire and just be absolute trash bags at these very fancy restaurants.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where like whoever works there, they're like this degenerate, not degenerate, but they're like this crappy family that probably goes out to clubs afterwards and does coke together and all like loves each other.
We were the island of misfit toys, and we were showing up.
Oh, we were the island, but I'm talking about the people that worked. If Gabby's is like, it's that.
Oh, the Gabby's, the staff was always great, but like
they were great people for sure. But it's like one of those places that if you go work there, you're like, well, now you're one of us.
Yeah, you're stuck there in purgatory.
But like loving it at the same time, you're like, I'll do this throughout my 20s. If I'm still here in my 40s, there's probably problems.
Gabby's was the place, like if you wanted one last drink, the drink that you didn't need, and it was like $1.45, and they'd be like, "Get in here, it's Gabby's."
then you order a jug and they go, okay, we're closing down. Get out. And you're like, but I just ordered the jug. You just sold me on this jug. Well, we got to close up because they're closing up and they're partying.
That's why I always had an issue when I was living in Los Angeles was like in Ontario, like the last call is like 2 a.m., but you have a half an hour to finish your drink. But in the States, it's 2 a.m., but you're out at 2 a.m. So like I remember buying a beer at like 150 or something, and then it was 2, and they're like, goodbye. And I was like, I just bought. They're like, we don't care.
My brother had an interesting theory with that because he spent a couple of years living in Australia where at least where he was, they didn't even have like there's no curfew, there's no like last call. And he's like, it was actually better even when he worked at places there because he's like, people shift it out as they want. So it's not like you push all these frat boy drunks out onto the street at the same time and go, great, now you guys all go and like fight each other. He's like, everyone just kind of was like, got to the point where they're too drunk and they go home. And you're like, well, it was actually kind of nice in that sense. There was less drunk driving. There was less like, I don't know how that worked out, but.
Well, you learn. Here we go.
All I'm saying is like, let's get rid of last calls. Not that it matters to me anymore because I'm coming home.
It doesn't really matter to me about the last call because I'd like to just.
I'm doing this for my son, so he doesn't have to deal with what I dealt with last calls.
Oh no, he can't get his coffee cake at 2 a.m.
He does love coffee cake.
Does. Well, friends, we really did it. So glad to be back. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. If you liked the episode, why not give it a little like? And if you haven't subscribed, get in on.
What's your problem?
Here. Get in here. We'll be back on Wednesday. We adore you all so much, and we will be updating our Patreon calendar. I have some thoughts. I'm thinking for the Patreon, we should maybe do a deep dive on all the men that will be on this season of The Bachelorette, which might be really fun. So let us know. But we will see you all on Wednesday. Thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.